In the final days of World War II, when Japan was burning and cities were reduced to ashes, there was silence in the oceans, but not peace. Because deep inside secret naval yards of Hiroshima and Kure, Japanese engineers were building something the world had never seen before. A machine so huge, so advanced that it could have rewritten history, if only it had been completed in time. It was not a battleship. It was not an aircraft carrier. It was something in between. A beast that could hide under the ocean, travel across the world unseen, and then rise from the water to launch bombers into the sky. This was Japan's A-400 submarine, the largest and most ambitious underwater warship ever built during World War II. A submarine that carried airplanes. A submarine designed to reach the United States without ever being detected. A submarine built to destroy the Panama Canal and perhaps change the fate of the world. By 1944, Japan knew the war was slipping away. Their navy was shattered, their air force crippled, fuel reserves were vanishing, and their cities were on fire. But deep inside, one final dream remained alive. A secret project called Sentoku, which meant Secret Special Submarine Project. Admiral Isoroku Yamamoto, the same mind behind the attack on Pearl Harbor, had planted the idea years ago. He believed that Japan could no longer win by fighting face-to-face. They needed to strike where the enemy least expected, to create fear, not by power, but by surprise. And so began the impossible, the construction of a submarine 400 feet long, powered by two giant diesel engines, capable of traveling more than 37,000 kilometers without refueling. It could circle the Earth, and no radar on the planet could find it. Inside this massive steel monster, engineers created something never imagined before. A pressurized hangar that could carry 3 aircraft called Siren, meaning storm from a clear sky. Each Siren could carry an 800-kilogram bomb and could be assembled and launched from the submarine deck in just 15 minutes. Think about it. A submarine that could rise silently from the Pacific, launch 3 bombers into the sky, strike a major city like San Francisco, Los Angeles, or even New York, and disappear beneath the waves before anyone realized what had happened. It was the perfect weapon for revenge, a creation born from desperation and brilliance. But war doesn't wait for dreams to be completed. By the time the first I-400 was ready for operation, Japan was already collapsing. American bombers were turning cities into ashes. And yet Japan's high command planned one final strike, a secret mission to bomb the Panama Canal. If the mission succeeded, it would cut off American supply lines between the Pacific and Atlantic, delaying the invasion of Japan by months, maybe more. The I-400 fleet was prepared for launch, pilots trained in secret, the submarines were loaded with planes and fuel. And then, August 1945 happened. 2 American bombs, Hiroshima and Nagasaki, ended the war before the mission could even begin. Japan surrendered. The submarines were ordered to surface and surrender to the U.S. Navy. Their dream of turning the tide of war sank with the rising sun. When American forces finally inspected the I-400, they couldn't believe what they saw. This submarine was twice as large as anything they had ever built. It carried airplanes. It had a range and capability that even the most advanced U.S. submarines couldn't match. The Americans knew this technology was too dangerous to share, especially now that the Soviet Union had become their next rival. So the U.S. Navy quietly decided to erase the I-400 from existence. They towed the captured submarines to Hawaii, and under a veil of secrecy, they sank them deliberately in deep waters. No official record, no announcement, just silence. For decades, the story of the Fuchs 400 remained buried. Literally, blueprints were destroyed. Engineers died. The few who knew about it were silenced by time. Then almost 70 years later, in 2013, a team of ocean explorers from the University of Hawaii made an astonishing discovery. 700 meters below the Pacific, their sonar picked up a massive steel shape. Long, cylindrical, still intact. When the divers went down, they saw it. The rusted body of the I-400, the ghost submarine of Japan, forgotten by history but still there, resting silently beneath the ocean, a reminder of what humanity can create in its darkest hours. Even today, historians debate whether the I-400 Was a genius invention or an act of desperation? Was it a symbol of hope or proof of madness? It never launched a single mission. It never fired a single shot. But it remains one of the most ambitious weapons ever built, a creation that proved the limits of imagination and the cost of war. The Eater 400 was not just a submarine, it was a message that even when nations fall, their dreams of power don't die easily. They sink deep beneath the waves, waiting to be rediscovered. And somewhere, in the dark silence of the Pacific Ocean, Japan's ghost submarine still sleeps, its metal heart corroded, its engines frozen in time, but its story alive forever. Because some machines are not built to fight wars, they're built to remind us what war does to those who dream too much.